Have you ever struggled with imposter syndrome?
Hi, I'm David Brown-Dawson with Lead Calm Gym, your go-to place to become the best version of yourself and the leader your team needs. Let's dive into this video.
Have you ever struggled with imposter syndrome? I've been having this conversation with people over the past few weeks, really the past few months, and it really came to a head over the past week when I had a chance to work with a group of interns. And one of the key issues that their leaders were telling me about was this challenge with imposter syndrome. And over the past week, I've had more and more conversations with other people, just one-off conversations in which that idea of feeling like an imposter, wondering if they're going to be found out, comes up. And so I just wanted to share this tool. I shared it in this workshop. I'm more than happy to do a full webinar on this, but I just wanted to share this with you now. And it's up behind me on the screen. And it's this idea of, on one side you have inferiority, on this other side you have superiority, on this side you have inadequacy, on this side you have arrogance, and both are relative positioning. It's a comparison. You can only be superior if you are superior to something else or to someone else. You can only be inferior if you are inferior to someone else. And this idea is like, on one side you have superiority, on this side you have inferiority, but then in the center is this idea of interiority, this idea of accurate self-perception. And this gets me jacked up for a number of reasons. So first, I got to give credit where credit's due. So Carolyn McHugh, if you want to watch her full TED Talk, it's called The Art of Being Yourself. And yeah, the art of being you, or the art of being yourself. Anyway, she shares this idea of interiority. And a couple of things that she says that I thought were quite profound. One was this idea of interiority is non-comparative. So whereas superiority is relative, is comparative, inferiority is relative, is comparative, interiority is about being clear about who you are. And then the other piece that I wanted to share is this idea that humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is thinking of yourself less. I'll say it again. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's not, oh, woe is me, oh no. That's not humility. Humility is just thinking about yourself less. What that means is, okay, I know I have these gifts. I have these ideas, these opportunities, abilities. How can I use the gifts that I have to serve other people? That's where the humility comes in. It's like stewardship, and the focus is shifting from, oh no, how do I compare to other people, to how can I serve? How can I steward these gifts to better serve people? All right. So that's one piece. The question that I posed was then, where are you on the scale? And I said, if I don't do the work, I fall into inadequacy. I lean inferiority. So I have to do the work, but I'll say this as well. I had to get very clear on who I am. And as I got clear on who I am, and for me as a Christian, whose I am, that then unlocked this ability to say, wait a minute, why am I feeling inferior? Why am I feeling inadequate? I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm a leader and a learner. And once I got this leader and a learner thing, then it was like, oh, okay, well, whatever place I go into, I may not understand what's going on in that moment, or I may need to learn something, but I can choose to lead in any moment. And I have the ability to learn whenever I need to. So that allows me to go into spaces and not feel like I'm an imposter, like, oh, look, I snuck into real estate finance. They haven't figured out that I don't know what I'm doing. Oh man, I snuck into the Air Force as an officer. I don't know what I'm doing, but hopefully they don't find me out. No. It's like I get to walk into this space and be like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out. I may not be as proficient as somebody else, sure, but that doesn't make me any less than. So what I would highly recommend is this next piece. And I'll make a whole nother video on this, but I gotta give this to you now. If you're trying to build your interiority, it starts with knowing who you are. What does that mean? It means getting clear on what's in your garden. When we say that, again, I'm putting this above me so that you can see the slide that I shared. It's 9 squares. The first 3 are, what are your abilities, ideas, and opportunities? Even if they're in seed form, what are your abilities, your ideas, and the opportunities that you've been given? Now, the second layer is, what do you want? What do you love? What do you fear? Now, I'll go ahead and say it at this point. One of the most critical pieces when you're doing this exercise is to not judge. Just suspend judgment, because what comes up is, oh, should I actually want that? Oh no, that may sound selfish. Oh no, oh, I fear that. That doesn't sound good. Let me not write that down. No. The idea is to listen to yourself, listen to your heart, and actually put it on paper, because then you actually get to see what you want. You get to see what you love. You get to see what you fear, and it helps you get to know you better. And then the last step, or the last three boxes, are: what is your vision for your life? What are your values? What do you value? And what are your standards? Now, each of these three, when I did the love one's fears exercise, it took me a few hours over the course of a couple days, because I had to be honest about where I was, and I had to suspend that judgment. And it was a lot to write down. Oh, I can't believe I wrote all these wants. It's okay to want. It's okay to love. It's okay to fear. Now, here's where it gets even more fun. So this is all about gardening, right? You can actually use your fears as assets. I'll share one of my deeper fears. One of my deeper fears was getting to the end of my life and having a conversation with God where he's like, hey, you could have impacted this many people. You could have done this and this and this, but you let your other fears hold you back, or you let things hold you back. And so I had, over time, and I tell you what, this is why I'm making this video, because I used to think I didn't want to get to the end of my life and have that happen. And then I started bringing it back to closer to the present. So I was like, I don't want this year to go by and I get to the end of this year and say, oh my gosh, I missed out on so many opportunities to impact people and to share what I'm learning, and just to continue to push myself outside of my comfort zone and to connect with people. I don't want to wait till the end of this year. I got to bring that back a little bit more. I don't want to wait till the end of this quarter. You see what I'm doing here, right? I got to bring that back a little bit more. I don't want to wait till the end of this month. Bring it back a little bit more. I don't want to wait to the end of this week, and bring it back a little bit more. I don't want to wait to the end of this day. Each day, I want to finish each day knowing, okay, I stewarded every single gift I've been given, every idea, ability, opportunity. I understand my wants, my loves, and my fears, and I understand and have lived and operated in alignment with my vision, my values, and my standards. This is how you can then use your fears or any of the other things in your garden to benefit others. And in the process, sure, the more I give, I already know I trust God. I trust that as I step out of my comfort zone, as I share these ideas, these abilities with you, I know he'll take care of me. I just know it. So I need you to get clear. And then, as with any garden, you got to be wary of weeds. What are weeds? Weeds are, and this is from, I'm taking this from my coaching program that I went through. Weeds are fourfold: limiting beliefs, assumptions, interpretations, gremlins. What are gremlins? Gremlins are those deep-seated statements that you feel like are you, but aren't. Like, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this. Those are the gremlins when we talk about gremlins. And sometimes it takes work. It takes me sometimes work with clients where we unpack and pull those things out to where it's like, oh, you can then name that gremlin, and then you can see it for what it is. You can thank it and send it on its way, because most of the time those gremlins start out from when you're younger and they're actually helpful early on, and then they evolve into limit, like just holding you back or restricting you or stopping you from using the rest of the things in your garden. And oh my gosh, I love this so much, because the garden is the metaphor. Your life is a garden. And so if you can get clear on your abilities, your ideas, your opportunities, aka your gifts, if you can get clear on what you want, what you love, and what you fear, and then if you can take time to identify, this is what you get to choose: your vision, your values, and your standards. Now, again, we spent so much time on this in that workshop. It takes a lot. Like, we can unpack this in an hour webinar. If you want me to make this into a webinar, just drop garden. If you comment garden, I will plan to do a full webinar when we dive into this. I'm telling you, if you get clear on what's in your garden, that gives you interiority. That means that you can get clear on the who, you can get clear on who you are, and then you can wrap the why, the how, and the what you do around the who. But when you wrap who you are around what you do, then for me, that would mean that when I went from Air Force officer to business school student to real estate finance professional to coach, that means I'm having to, oh man, I'm no longer a captain, so I got to figure out, what does it mean to be a student? Oh gosh, now I'm no longer a student, I'm a real estate professional, but I'm just like, I've only been in real estate for 3 months, so how do I actually compete and compare, and I'm not good enough, all this other stuff. that's unnecessary. That's wasted energy. You could be putting your energy into much more impactful things. So get clear on your who, then you can expand to why you want to do the things that you do, how you're going to go about doing it. And that's whenever you get into like the values and your standards, like how you're going to go about doing it. And then what you do can change. I've been an Air Force officer. I've been an Air Force civil engineer officer. I've been an air advisor leading multidisciplinary teams to African countries. I've been a business school student. I've been a real estate finance professional. I am now an entrepreneur and a certified coach and a consultant, and most recently a founder. And at the end of the day, I can really say I'm a leader and a learner. And so long as I stay there, then I can choose to lead in any space, and then I can learn whatever I need to learn. Now for me, I'll also say, when I say who am I say I'm a leader and a learner. I'm a Texan and a Californian. I'm a brother. I'm a son. I'm a fiance. I'm a Christian. Like, that's how I define myself. What I choose to do in terms of coaching, consulting, building a company, like that's what I'm doing. How I'm doing it? Well, I'm going to use my skills of active listening. I'm going to do it with empathy. I'm going to be resilient in the ways that I move. Y'all, I'm so excited. This is the stuff that gets me jacked up. And I tell you what, if you take the time, it does take time, but if you get clear on these 9 areas, and then you do the extra work to identify those, we call them gales, but the gremlins, the assumptions, the interpretations, and the limiting beliefs. If you get clear on those are your weeds. If you get clear on the seeds and the weeds, oh my gosh, you will be less susceptible to drifting. And this is a term that I got from my top book of 2024, drifting. The book is called Outwitting the Devil. It's by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill, yes, wrote Think and Grow Rich. He also wrote, this book was left unpublished for 70 years because his family was afraid of what would happen when they published it. So they didn't publish it. But I'm telling you, getting clear on what's in your garden, having a strong, like having your interiority, having an accurate self-perception will allow you to move into and through the spaces that are meant for you with the level of confidence, with the level of contentment, and with the level of boldness. That's what I got for now. I'll let you go. Again, drop garden in the comments if you want me to do a webinar, and we'll make it happen. All right, take care.
Thanks for watching. For more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and leave your thoughts in the comments. If you want to work with me more directly via coaching or workshop, go to leadcomgym.com. I'm David Brown-Dawson, encouraging you to be a conscious leader who cares. I'll see you in the next video. Let's grow together.